the day you saved my soul. You've been proving
This is the
Da-na-na-na-na. It's motherfucking episode 3. Snoop Dogg. I'm Justin. This is oh god, you're talking already?
Yeah, that's right. I'm asserting myself. Asserting? That's right.
I'm gonna say what I normally say. Anyway, Thomas, say something so people know you exist.
The Cleveland Browns are terrible.
Why are they terrible?
Because we just lost to Brandon Allen. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Brandon Allen?
Yep, this is how I feel about that. There we go. Ooh, that's a lot of foam.
What type of beer is it?
This is a Coors Light, because Bud Light won't pay me nothing. It's a Brock Lesnar
Well,
quote.
okay, so it's episode 3. We're gonna, there was a lot of shit before I told you what episode. No, I did the da-na-na-na, it's episode 3. So
Do we want to do this again?
No, I'm fine. We're rolling with it.
Alright, we're rolling. Let's go.
So, what, it's Sunday night. This will be coming out on Monday. So
Sunday.
We just watched our teams both lose.
That's right.
And so we're really pumped to not talk about the NFL and talk about the XFL.
That's right.
So today, let me look. I'm on the wrong thing. We're gonna
Super prepared for this
yeah.
episode.
It's just the mojo's fucked up because our team's lost.
That's true. Probably that it.
So news and notes. Not a lot of news today.
Really not
Honestly,
a lot of news. That's correct.
So we're gonna talk about something,
Yeah.
but it's not gonna be great, and it's not gonna be. It's really non-news, but it's
all right.
whatever.
Every week, baby, we here.
Yeah, we're committed to giving you a show every week.
That's right.
So then we're gonna do a little segment on a potential XFL video game and what we'd want to see from an XFL video game. Do you know why I picked this topic, Thomas?
Why did you pick this topic, Justin?
Because the NCAA had allowed the or they haven't yet, but they're in the process of allowing players to use their names and likenesses.
So really, they really haven't done anything. They've just basically allowed the conversation to be had.
But with that, there was talks, NCAA football's coming back, which got me thinking, Madden fucking sucks. I can't wait till NCAA comes back, hopefully.
It'll be the same
And then I was
shit.
like, maybe an XFL video game can fill that void of not giving me a terrible fucking video game.
Possibly. But also, it'll be the same shit. So.
Well, let's hope not. But, so, I guess let's hit our first segment, and here's the news and notes drop.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Alright, first story for our news and notes, and the only story. Antonio Brown is in the news again for talking shit. Mm-hmm. What a surprise.
Well, sure.
And this is a really non-story, but he did say something. Someone had asked him, one of his followers had asked him if he would join the NFL, and he said, and I quote, "I will buy the XFL. Tell at Vince McMahon his league will only last 3 weeks max." Mm-hmm. So he's just shit talking the XFL. Mm-hmm. Any initial?
Any initial thing? I mean, it's a fair question by whoever asked him that, because whatever, you're not in the NFL right now. Also, no, Antonio Brown's not going to be in the XFL. He would not get. I mean, the amount of money they're paying the players is not enough for Antonio Brown to risk his body. Just doesn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Him saying
no one thought he would join the XFL.
Yeah, him saying the XFL won't last 3 weeks, maybe, but I think they're good for at least a year. I think they've set aside stuff to where they'll be fine for a year, and then they'll maybe reevaluate after that. But honestly, I mean, I wouldn't really call it shit talking. More so as just like, hey, I'm the best receiver, and if I was in the NFL, I would still be the best receiver. I happen to be a weirdo, and that's keeping me from being in the NFL, but skill-wise, I'm the best receiver, and you can quote me on that, because he is.
And I disagree with him there, but we won't get into that. That's an NFL discussion.
Yeah.
But it's Okay, so I have it written here that they wouldn't want him, and that's not entirely true, because if Antonio Brown was like, hey, I'm going to come play for the XFL for $500,000, they'd be like, fuck yes.
Yeah, the teams would literally be fighting over him because he's the best receiver in the game of football currently.
But they're not going to pay him the money he would need. And he does, have a lot of scandals going on that still haven't been resolved. And you probably couldn't add him to a roster right now.
You probably could. An XFL roster, if you wanted to play for the money that you would give him, you definitely probably could.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess if he was paying for $500,000.
Yeah, I mean, if he wanted that money and he was open to it and the money was there, he'd be on a team if he wanted to. But
he does bring baggage that you wonder, like you don't want to sign this guy and then,
absolutely.
And then all of a sudden, it comes out he did do whatever the allegations against him are. That would not be a good look for the XFL. So they might, and I don't know if it's a guarantee. I'm hoping that okay, I wouldn't put it past Vince McMahon to be like, let's get fucking Antonio Brown. But I'm hoping like Oliver Luck and the management there would be like, maybe we should also wait till the situation's resolved.
That'd be cool. That being said, I really don't think this is like a less than 1% chance of even being considered by either party, just because
it's 0% chance this will get considered by either party. There's no way they could pay the guy.
There's no way they could pay the guy.
Anyway, so this got some stuff happening on Twitter. Where there is a solid XFL community and people sharing their thoughts. There's actually a lot of people, I didn't quote any of their tweets, but there was a lot of people being like, oh, Antonio Brown would run the XFL. I didn't see a lot of people like being like, yeah, fuck the XFL, but I did see a lot of people being like, oh, if Antonio Brown was in the XFL, that'd be really cool.
Well, yeah, it would be, because he'd be the best player by far in the entire thing.
But like the real XFL, like the people who are like us, or at least like me. I don't know how tapped in you are.
XFL Extra Point, by the way, that's us.
Oh, I never shouted out the Twitter, huh?
That's all right. I got you.
Oh boy, yeah.
I got
at
you.
XFL Extra Point.
That's right. Follow us.
They were pissed off by this. I mean, I was kind of pissed. Like it was like a petty shot.
But also, when you're the big dog, you can take the penny shots, is all.
Though he couldn't buy the XFL, I will.
I mean, no, you couldn't, because
he doesn't have the money for that.
However, I mean, it's still Antonio
Anyway,
Brown.
I got some. I pulled some XFL tweets of some people disapproving of what he said. At Real Effect XFL Football said, Antonio Brown doesn't think we'll last 3 weeks. Well, he's an authority on such matters. He's just mad that I don't want him because he's a pain in the ass.
True. I agree with that.
But I like the shot where he said he's authority on such matters.
That's very clever. But also, I don't think getting into like a I don't know, it's not a pissing contest, but like you're like, Antonio Brown, you're a weirdo. He's like, yeah. Also, I have $1 million and I'm awesome at football. So what? He's like, It's a lose-lose, really.
Yeah. And then we had at XFL dude saying we don't want his clown ass. I do think, like, I'm in the camp, like, I don't fuck with Antonio Brown.
I mean, yeah, no, the stuff that he's allegedly done is bad, and if that's true, then yeah, you do not want his clown ass. However, talent and skill-wise alone, yes, you do. But that's beside the point, I suppose.
Like, I wouldn't want him on my NFL team, for sure.
I mean, if he didn't do the whole... if the stuff he's been accused of isn't true, then it's fine. He's worth it.
Even outside of that, just being the asshole that he is, like he did with the Raiders.
Well, the Raiders, I don't know what that was. Just weird. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't think he ever wanted to be on the Raiders, to be honest. But I mean, I don't really know what's going on with that.
So that's the red flag for me. But and then we have what's this tweet right here? A tweet from @ThomasRay54 # Team AB.
Team
I wonder
AB,
who that is.
Because that's me, @ThomasRay54. You can follow me if you want. I don't tweet about the XFL from that account. But, yeah. I don't think
Team
people in the
AB.
XFL or people that are affiliated with the XFL should be really taking pot shots at Antonio Brown just because it's not, like, you're not going to win. Because it's whatever.
Yeah, he started it. He's
He did start it. Fair. 100% fair. And, I mean, he's not correct or right by any means. And I don't know why he's really being like, yeah, whatever, the XFL. It's like, dude, why are you, like, swinging at the guppy fish? You know what I mean? But,
sure.
but it's just whatever. I mean, he looks really dumb by saying, I'm going to buy the XFL. And I'm not saying anybody looks dumb by swinging at Antonio Brown, because Antonio Brown's a crazy jerk face. But I don't know. I wouldn't pay attention to him because whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever going to play again,
kinda,
unfortunately. So
I don't think he will either. He's a headache.
Yeah, he's a giant headache. He's a huge weirdo.
And he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He has money.
Exactly. So, I mean, as far as we know. So.
Yeah, that's true. I guess a guy could have spent all his money.
I mean, a dude as weird as him probably has made some poor investments. But, again, I do not know. So.
All right. Well, that was our news.
Yeah.
That's all we had to talk about.
A lively week this week.
Yeah, we're still waiting on some new news to come. You know, if you guys, because I try to be as tapped in as I can be on news and stuff for the XFL, but like, if you guys that listen or follow us on Twitter have like news that you'd like us to talk about, like we got the other day, we got a DM and someone suggested something we could talk about, and we're talking about it next week because
that's right,
it was a good idea.
That's right. You can DM us on Twitter at XFL Extra Point. That's XFL, the letter X. XTRA point. Just making sure that we got that straight. Or
it's literally the name of our podcast.
Yes. Well, got to be sure. Or is that email ready or no?
Oh, it's been ready. I just forgot what it was called.
Well,
I can figure that out right now. It's xtrapointcontact@gmail.com.
Okay. Well, if there's something you guys want to hear our opinion on, really anything at all. Just because it's going to be a little bit of a slow news week-wise until stuff starts to get rolling. Feel free to send it, and we may answer, we may not. We probably will. So
yeah, we need shit to talk about.
Yeah, we need stuff to talk about.
It can really be anything. I mean, like if it's we won't answer if we're like, oh, we don't want.
Yeah, if it's a question about anything really, or you want to know our opinion about something at all, like a player or anything. We may answer it. So DM us on Twitter or send it our way via email, and maybe you'll get it on the show.
Yeah. Look at us being official.
Look at that.
All right. Well, we're moving on from news. Thomas, did you know last week you did something, and I don't know if you intentionally did this, but I included it.
Oh God, what did I do?
You were like, shaka. right before you made some noise. It was like shaka.
I was trying to see if I was going to cough or not.
But it was like, what actually happened is when I was editing, I didn't cut it, and so I was listening back, and then right before, so when we moved on from the news to our first topic, you were like shaka. Really? But it kind of worked as a transition.
I didn't even hear that when I was doing it. Damn. Okay.
I don't know if you said shaka or something. It was like, but it was not a word that was a real word. But it sounded like you intentionally were like, let's transition. Shaka.
Shaka. All right.
So like the fucking every time.
Like the Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like the like that.
No, I wish I could play it for you. You're just gonna have to listen back to it. But just make some random transition noise for us to move on to our next.
Well, now you put me on the spot because I can't do shakaka because it's gotta be different. So lead me into it.
Okay, this is me leading Thomas into our transition.
That was the worst. Fine, just something like that.
That worked. All right. So now we're moving on to our XFL video game discussion. We were supposed to kind of formulate some ideas, and I did want to post that I saw this when I was doing a little research on this, that on September 12th of this year, the XFL had posted on Happy Video Games Day. Oh, I said Happy Video Game. On Video Games Day, they said Happy #Video Games Day, and said, would you be interested in an XFL video game, and if so, what features or game modes should be included? So are they thinking about it? Are they thinking about an XFL video game?
If they are, I hope they're not thinking about a mobile game, because those are all terrible, and there's not a good one. But that would be the most cost-effective one to make. So I hope it's not that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I heard, when I was looking up, I've always been very like, oh, please give me another football game that's not Madden. So I'm always like, why is there not another football game? Like even like All Pro Football 2K8, where it was like it's not a licensed NFL thing, but it's just like, or like Blitz the League, or like Backbreaker,
which sucked but is also great. So,
So I was like, why don't those games come out? So I was doing this was a long time ago, or I was watching a video, and they were like, well, these games are just expensive to make, and they take a lot of people to make, and they take a long time to make.
and they sell like shit.
Yeah, and they don't make that much money when you don't have a license attached to it.
Yes.
But here's the thing I was thinking. If they do release a game, right, and they, in this day and age when I think there's a lot of people pissed off with Madden, and there's a lot of people who are like diehard football video game fans, who are like, give me something else besides Madden, you can almost promote the XFL just by saying, we're giving you a football game, but it has the XFL license attached.
That's right.
And even if people are getting it not because it's an XFL game, but so they can have another football game that's not Madden, you're like promoting the XFL just through doing that.
That's correct.
So that's what I was thinking. But anyway, so we kind of came up with some ideas, and I'm going to go first on kind of expressing some of my ideas for what they should do for an XFL video game. I know some people were saying like, oh, they should release one before the season starts to promote it. That's not enough time to make a video game.
Yeah, it's not nearly enough time.
So what my game is going to be is XFL 2K21.
All right.
And so obviously it's going to be a 2K football game. If you've played any of the 2K, have you played any of the you've played the 2K?
I've dabbled in All Pro 2K, and I mean I played they made the ESPN one, right?
Yeah, ESPN 2K5.
Yeah, the one that everyone thinks is amazing, but is just kind of okay now because it's old.
All Pro is better than ESPN 2K5.
Yeah, I've dabbled in both. Well, I mean, not really. I mean, it's just a newer game, so I mean, it should be an improvement.
They're kind of the same engine. They kind of play the same. It's just like it's a little newer
NFL
and smoother.
teams. Yeah.
That like the 2K8 is just smoother and newer. It just feels a little bit better.
I mean, that's what you
But
want.
anyway, the gameplay I want to be very similar to All Pro Football 2K, because that game is just fantastic. They just need to upgrade the graphics and tweak the engine so it's like a little smoother. But it's overall, I mean, even if they just wanted to slap the 2K8 engine in there, it'd be better than Madden. It just would be better than Madden. So
it'd be pretty. I mean, it wouldn't be easy to be better than Madden, I would say, just because Madden has the presentation down pat because they have.
It's the presentation.
It's
That's
the
what's going to be the hardest thing for them. Because Madden presentation is great.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's the gameplay that's awful.
Literally everything else that is just.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't get too much into why Madden sucks and why this All Pro is better, but just know that all the good things that are good with All Pro Football 2K8 and that make it better than Madden, that's what I want to be in the game. Just the smoothness, the way it doesn't feel as animation driven.
Yes.
It doesn't feel as clean. It feels real.
Yes.
And it feels like your characters have momentum and things like that. That just doesn't really. It just feels like you're playing with robots and fucking Madden.
Yes.
So that kind of stuff I want to go over. But some things I want to include like realistic injuries. Like, you know, in Madden when you'll get like just hit and it's just like a normalized hit and they'll be like, you have a broken knee.
Yeah.
Like,
what?
And your guy's like grabbing his head.
The
like,
best
that doesn't
is
make any
when
sense.
a fucking like you get destroyed and your guy's like grabbing his back or something, and then it'll be like, oh, injury, chest, and it's like,
yeah, that's
like,
what I'm saying. Shit like that.
So,
like be a little more ragdoll physics.
Ragdoll, accurate.
Just be a little more ragdoll. And when something hits something, if you want an injury to happen there, make it like that. Like if someone's getting tackled in their ankle and their ankle breaks, that's more realistic. That's what I want.
If you can get like to the halfway point between Madden and Backbreaker, that'd be great.
Yes, and that's what I think All Pro Football is.
Yeah, because Backbreaker was too much because you would like barely hit a guy and they would flip to the moon. And Madden is just, I mean, it says like, oh, real tackle physics. It's not. It's animations. I mean,
yeah, they're just a series of animations, and then you'll see the same animations. That's what kills me.
Yeah, you'll see the worst ones are the catch ones where it's like he has literally no business catching the ball. How he, like, say he's running to kind of the back of the end zone, and instead of keeping his feet in and catching it, he'll like jump up and easily catchable ball that should be there for 6 will go out of bounds just because of how the game decided he should catch it. Stuff like that. And, I mean, we can get into kind of the ticky-tackiness of how Madden just isn't very good and is not a good football simulator, because it's not, but then this would be a very complaining podcast. So,
yeah, it would. But, yeah, so we just want to see just, like, a realistic feeling engine and just things that make sense in the gameplay. The gameplay has to be the most important part.
Yes.
Which it hasn't been in Madden.
Yes.
The most important part in Madden has been Ultimate Team.
Which I mean, It is to make money primarily, so I do understand, but I just wish that they would pay more attention instead of nearly not at all on franchise. Just because.
And with that, with
Yes.
you saying franchise, I'm going to transition to the modes. And so I mean, there's not going to be anything crazy with the modes. I mean, it's going to be a superstar mode and a franchise mode.
Yeah.
Got to make sure you have those. If you make an XFL game, you have to have a superstar and a franchise mode.
Frankly,
Don't make it
I would even doubt that they might have had a superstar mode because they want you to play with the players and not you. You know what I mean? Or if they do, it'll let you pick like a player to play as instead of letting you make your own.
For sure. I mean, and that that's more reasonable. If you're gonna go, if it's a budget problem, you can kind of cut superstar mode a little bit and focus more. I think franchise mode is the most important. But if you have the budget to make a fleshed out superstar mode, and I'm hoping if it's made by 2K, like I want it to be, they focus a lot on their my player.
Yeah, if 2K has the reins, then they probably would at least give it some cinematic. I would say give it socks again.
And so what I said when I was talking about superstar mode was I don't really want I want it to be similar to my player, but I don't want it to be like a story per se. Like I don't want cutscenes. I want cutscenes.
What you want is like the 2K13, like 2K14 type of story mode where there's like minimal like ridiculousness. As opposed to like 2K16 where Spike Lee, the frequency vibrations and all that stupid shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So
like I just want like if there is cutscenes, I want it to be like when you make a decision to do something like
and
like if you suck and there's a cutscene where your coach is like, hey, we're gonna have to fucking not start you, or we're not gonna play you as much this game. Like have a cutscene for that. That's cool.
Yeah, and like you either
but don't
like,
make that part of the story. But if you suck, that cutscene might come up. Stuff like that. Like. Let me just play the game, and if there's press conferences, you can have kind of a cutscene for that. But I don't really know if there's going to be press conferences. I mean, don't make it all the time and repetitive.
Don't make it anything that Madden has done the past 3 games.
Yeah,
basically, like even QB1 is pretty poor, honestly, because it's just not. It doesn't make any sense. But that's just me.
And then so my ideas I had for what they could do is like. What they should do is they should start you in a D2 school and like make up a D2 school. Like, don't make it a real one because no one really knows D2 schools.
Yeah.
So just make up a D2 school or like a JUCO school.
Yeah.
And so that's where you start, and then you play the playoffs of that or whatever, and then however you do well in that, and then you go to the XFL tryouts and you get drafted, and so that would be the story. If there's a story, that's the story. And then you're just playing games.
Yeah. And while, like I said, like I would like that, I still just kind of think that they wouldn't want you to make your own guy. They want you, hey, these are the XFL players. Play as Landry Jones or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I feel like they would do that.
Okay. One thing I said with the Superstar mode, another thing is like, if they should do like a badge system similar to 2K, because they tried doing that in Madden with the Superstar X Factors, which is kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it's not. I like the idea of the more you do something. Like if I'm like juking people out of their shoes, like I could be upgrading a juke badge.
Yeah.
Doing that.
Yeah.
Like and what makes that ass in 2K is that you could then go online and use those, and they're always ass is how they translate. But this will have no online multiplayer.
Oh, you don't want online multiplayer at all?
Not in the game, but not in with your superstar.
Oh, anyway. I get you. My bad. Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
So your badges won't translate. So your badge is just for you. So they won't be. Badges are more annoying when you're playing against people and they have badge and you're like, that badge is broken. That
badge is fucking bullshit. Like fucking 90% of 2K shooting badges, but whatever.
But if you're just playing the game and you're not playing against people, that aspect's out of it. So have a badge system similar to that.
Yeah, I like
just
that.
Put it in the offline superstar mode. So. All right, that's all I have to say about Superstar mode. Franchise is going to be pretty simple. It's 2 options: control a team that already exists, Dallas Renegades, or create an expansion team. Like they didn't have that in Madden; they don't have create a team anymore.
Yeah,
bring that back bring that into XFL. Let us create expansion teams.
Again, I don't think that'd be a thing that they would pursue just because they would like you to play as the teams. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe, but I just feel like
from a marketing standpoint, they're going to keep it as close to what they have as possible, just so that they get some, like, because they don't want people, you won the XFL with a team that isn't real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. but they're going to expand at some point. That's already been a thing that's talked about.
Yes, but when this comes out, I mean, when they decide to do it, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff that I think from a marketing standpoint that whoever's in charge of this would be like, well, why would we do this when, like, why wouldn't we want them to play with an XFL team as opposed to a team that they themselves made up?
I would just hope that, like, 2K, because in my mind, it's 2K making this, right?
Yeah.
So 2K, with their NBA games, they let you create teams, they let you create players, and then with, man, I was about to have another point about 2K.
Yeah.
Oh, and their WWE games.
Which are terrible.
They let you, there's a lot of creation. Though I haven't played the new one, but I heard they took a lot of that out.
It's really
or they made it a lot worse.
It's really
but,
bad.
You know, and WWE and this are going to be very lined up, I think.
I don't think they will be. I think they're going to try to distance themselves as much as possible from each other.
But just inevitably, any contract that...
I mean, there'll be some
Man has
crossover. Like, you'll be like, look, it's fucking The Rock's at the game. Wow.
Well, no, I don't know. I didn't mean that. I meant like Vince McMahon has deals with 2K already. Because he does it with the WWE. So there's already an avenue for him to talk to 2K about making a game, you know?
Now, you say Vince McMahon, and I bet he's like, oh, fucking, what the fuck is a video game?
I mean like that.
The WWE general, yes. I know what you mean. I'm just clarifying for someone who
Yeah,
might
the
not.
ownership of WWE.
Yeah,
and
whoever
the
is
people,
in charge of the video games.
I think it's called Alpha Entertainment or something like
Okay.
that. Like that group, you know,
Okay.
they already work with 2K, and it wouldn't be hard for them to reach out to 2K and then make a football game.
Sorry, I'm just trying to picture Vince McMahon running a video game. He's like, wow.
No. There's a connection already made that he can use to make this game. Anyway, my last thing with the franchise, like, this is the only gameplay franchise stuff that I was like, oh, this is the only thing I thought of that they should add.
Yeah.
So the mid-season free agency should be an important feature in the game, you know, like,
Yeah.
think about how, like, players, because this is going to be a real thing during the XFL, players are going to get cut off practice squads, and then so teams are going to be trying when the season's already going on.
Well, plus,
So what-
like, if a player is like playing too well, then like perhaps next season they'll be in the NFL as opposed to still in the XFL. So
Here's
that'd be
my thing:
interesting.
I don't know if they'll add that feature just because they don't want it to look like they're the B League.
the C League, even though they absolutely are. But you're right.
Yeah, they don't want to promote like our players want to leave us. Go play
Our
for
players want to go play for better teams and make more money. There's no way. That's
So-
not real.
as cool as and realistic as I wanted to add that. That was something I was considering.
Yeah, no,
right
you're
here,
right.
But I was like, they wouldn't do that.
No,
so
you're
what I would
super
do
right.
is more like a mid-season, just the adding part. So it
Yeah.
would be like, oh, players become available, and so then in the free agency is just as so. And like when you play Madden,
Yeah.
the free agency is important, but it's not during the season. It's not.
Yeah.
Like you're just filling gaps during the season.
Yeah, free
So
agency, well, franchise in Madden sucks. But
Yeah.
yes, you're right. So, free agency
I'm,
does not
I'm,
matter.
I'm just saying more of the aspect of like during the middle of the season, there's not free agency isn't very important. Like you already have your team built.
Yeah, you
during
already
the
have your
off-season.
team, and like say there's a team that their free safeties at like a 68 overall, and there's a like an 85 free safety just sitting in the free agency market, they will not be picked up. So
Yeah.
because that's just
Yeah.
how it
So,
goes.
but so how I wanted to do it in this franchise mode would be like, it's going to be as important as scouting and
Yeah.
draft prospects and scout and
Mm-hmm.
off-season stuff. And I wanted to do it kind of like the NCAA 14 scouting, where you would
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like have to influence these people in the middle of the season to come play for your team because they can go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Exactly.
So you have to you have to allocate recruiting points to them and like have good facilities and be winning and to be like, oh, I want to go play for your team. And so during the season, you have this like interactive scouting that goes on with free agency, mid-season free agency. Then you have the draft that you have to scout for. Then you have the actual free agency during the off-season. So there's like three periods of scouting.
This might be a weird question, but like, do the XFL players have like a weight room? Like, do the teams have like facilities?
I think they have facilities.
Like they
I think
play
they
at
do. I actually,
the, like professional stadiums and stuff like that, but like,
I'm sure they have practice fields.
Okay, I mean, but are they just using the? I don't know.
They gotta have something. I'm sure they have. I'm sure they can use whatever the local sports teams are using. Like,
That's true.
not per se the Texans, but maybe like the MLS soccer team or something like that.
Yeah, or like, hopefully they're not like lifting it like, oh, we're going to fucking high school over here. They'll use their weight room or something. But
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think it's gonna be more like a lesser sports team, like an MLS team,
no, you're probably right.
or like whatever minor league baseball uses.
They don't use shit really, but yes, like that.
So, all right, and the only other thing I had for my version of the game would be no ultimate team or microtransactions.
I would like that, but that's definitely going to happen because that's how they make money. So
They just don't have enough. There's not. I don't think there's enough. There's only 8 teams. There's not
well,
enough content.
what I think that they would get around that, I think would be a smart idea, is to have a form of something like Draft Champions or something like that, like what used to be Madden before they fucked it up. Where you can pick from the very tiny pool of players and then play online with that. I think that would be the best way to do that, just because the player pool is so tiny. But that's just what I would think.
But that wouldn't be as bad as Ultimate Team.
I mean, that wouldn't be as bad as Ultimate Team, but I think you're also right in saying that there's just not enough players to field a good Ultimate Team unless they, I don't know, unless they just make players up, which would be stupid. But
Yeah, I don't think there's a ton of ways they could fit microtransactions into this game. So,
but in the very few ways that they could, they will definitely do it.
yeah, I just don't think it can ruin the game. If there are, it's going to be very minimal shit that you can get around without having to pay money.
I wouldn't say that even the microtransactions in Madden ruin the game per se. I just think the game itself ruins the game. Like the way
the problem with Madden is that they focus so much on how they can use the microtransactions that they don't focus on the other things.
You're right, but I
don't think there's any way they could do that. There's no big enough section for them to be like, this is our microtransaction section.
Yeah.
To focus on.
Yeah, you're right. But I think any way they can squeeze a penny out of it, they're going to squeeze a penny out of it, just because of in this situation where it's 2K, and B, the WWE being like, give me the money, Saudi Arabia. So, you know what I mean?
We're reaching into WWE.
Well, because
with their shady Saudi Arabia deals.
It's the same company. They didn't even get paid for the first show. Did you see that shit? Whatever.
I didn't.
Oh, fucking, I don't know what's going on there. It's terrible.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add in our video game discussion? Do you have a game laid out like I did?
We've said, we basically covered all the points. I think our points would end up being mostly the same. While I would love for it to be everything we want it to be, what it's going to end up being, I think, if it even happens, would be a mobile game on iPhone for $2.99 or for free with ads. And I don't think that they would, unless like this is 3 or 4 years down the line and the XFL is a big success. Like, I don't think that they would go this direction with this so soon is all, and actually make it decent. I think they would try to make it somewhere and they get cash kind of quickly. Just right off the bat, there's no saying that they won't do the mobile thing and then release a more detailed game later. But in my head and my pessimism, like, this is the way that it goes.
I know, I was about to say, Thomas, always the pessimist here.
Yeah, it'll be like 7-on-7. You get to pick like 3 of the quarterbacks, and then you get to pick like 3 receivers, and then you
know what game was good though? I remember NFL Tour.
I didn't like NFL Tour actually. I thought it was really boring.
Fine for not trying to be a traditional football game.
I thought it was like NFL Street, but like with all the fun sucked out of it. But that was
NFL Tour.
You can like it. It's fun.
I'm a sucker for non-Madden games.
Well, that's just because Madden is so fucking soulless, but I mean, just is what it is.
So nothing else you want to bring up there?
No, I think we're good there on the video game. We've covered most of our points.
So all right, so hopefully don't cash grab. Give us a good football game.
If
you literally, I don't know how to explain this and say this, but you're going to get so much promotion for just making a good football game because of how many people just want a good football game.
But also, making a good football game is pretty tough.
For sure.
If you don't know what you're doing, if you pick, that's all I'm going to say. It'd be
but
pretty tough.
if 2K if 2K wanted to make another football game, and I know they're hearing it. People are saying, "Oh, make another football game," because everyone. I mean, that's if you're someone who watches like Madden YouTube or football YouTube, that's like all they're talking about.
Shout out Ryan Moody 21. He's very good at that stuff. If you want to look about how bad Madden is, Ryan Moody 21 is a good YouTube channel. We also have taken into account probably most of the people that worked on All Pro Football, 2K, whatever, are probably they don't work at 2K anymore.
That's true.
So I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know
it's
that.
Just,
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But
you just gotta assume that they've heard it so much. People saying, "Oh, make Madden or make a new 2K football game. We don't care if it's NFL licensed. Like, just make a new 2K football game."
But you also got to be like, well, they're probably sitting in their office like, well, we make like $1 billion off of NBA 2K, so let's just keep doing that. Because why would we not?
How much money do you think they're making on WWE 2K?
Still probably a crap ton because the marks that buy it every year. Look at me using wrestling terminology. Ha ha ha. Marks. That's right. I'm a huge nerd. But yeah.
But you could have that same. There's going to be crossover WWE. They dropped the ball on that. They dropped the ball on that WWE game recently.
To 2K. So. Well, I mean, it's because I mean, it's bad. It's the same shit, but like, it just doesn't work. So that's what it is.
Well, all right. Well, let's move on. Please make a good football. Not even for the sake of making a good XFL game. Just give us a new good football game.
Yes, please. Give us an alternative to Madden.
Yeah, we're just tired of. There just needs to be more alternatives. But that's all for today's show, I guess. We're gonna hopefully have a heavier episode next week. Sorry if we didn't live up to your XFL expectations. Did you see my kind of alliteration there?
Yeah, the X alliteration there. Very nice. Well done.
We're gonna have better episodes going forward. I think this was a good episode with what we had this week. But a little on the shorter side. But
but again, if you would like to help us with that, send us a DM at XFL Extra Point or send us an email to.
Oh God. xtrapointcontact@gmail.com. Please and
wonderful. Any topic that you want to hear our opinions about. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week. More shit to talk about. Bye-bye.
Bye, fellas.